This is the month that so much is going to unfold right before our eyes very, very soon. So one thing is, I've been saying that when Mars and Saturn come together, which is actually, what's the date today? Oh my gosh, the 4th and the 5th. Right now is the pressure's on. What does Mars and Saturn together really mean? It makes people angry. It makes people frustrated. Saturn is the opposite of Mars, and they are so strong in the placements. The signs are in Capricorn right now. They come together and they're going to cause a lot of angry outbursts. And this is going to happen all over the world, needless to say. And here we are in a war. This will intensify, definitely. So you're going to see where people are going to start waking up. Finally, we're seeing the truth. I've been talking about the truth being exposed for so long, and we didn't want to believe it. But the most important thing, and I always emphasize this, is our spiritual growth. That's why we're here. And all of these are opportunities, whether they're dealing with our anger, our issues, it's all about spiritual growth. This month is the most exciting time for an opportunity to see the truth and become very involved with your spiritual growth.
Hey, Inspired Tribe. How's it going? It's Jean Nolan here. Welcome to another Inspired Conversation. And today, back on the Inspired channel, our dear friend, world-renowned Vedic astrologer, Joni Patry. Joni, thank you so much for taking the time today.
My pleasure.
Joni, for those of you who know you, who are following you, your YouTube channel, what you've been saying, it's kind of like checking off all your, not predictions, it's kind of you're reading really the stars, and then you're telling people what energies will unfold and what could be expected. You've been extremely accurate. And, you know, I went back to our conversation and to the videos in between. People are asking all the time, what do you think is going to happen in the next days, in the next months? We are in a very transformative time. So will we see energies kind of calming down, or will we see an intensification? What are the stars telling you?
Oh, well, this is perfect timing, John, that you have me on, because this is the month that so much is going to unfold right before our eyes very, very soon. So one thing is, I've been saying that when Mars and Saturn come together, which is actually, what's the date today? Oh my gosh, the 4th and the 5th. And, you know, when I give these exact dates, it's usually around that time. It doesn't have to be dead on, because those planets come together, and even when they're in a radius of each other, these are where the events happen. But right now is the pressure's on. What does Mars and Saturn together really mean? It makes people angry. It makes people frustrated. Saturn is the opposite of Mars, and they are so strong in the placements. The signs are in Capricorn right now. They come together and they're going to cause a lot of angry outbursts. I mean, look at Will Smith just the other day. That's kind of an example of people exerting their anger and frustration. And this is going to happen all over the world, needless to say. And here we are in a war. Well, we aren't, but you know, in Europe, there's a war going on, and this will intensify, definitely. But what I find so beautiful after this is there's going to be a relief. And that's going to be when Jupiter and Neptune come together. It's around the 13th of April. That's soon after such an intense, angry aspect. Then we get this beautiful aspect that I tell everyone, the veil to the spiritual world is so thin, because Neptune is spirituality. But at the same time, the other extreme of Neptune can be deception and illusion. And I'm seeing where we have a choice. And that's why I think it's so great that I'm able to inspire everyone about this choice that's coming up mid-month. And it's not like it's only going to be on that day. It's really influencing the whole month. So you're going to see where people are going to start waking up. And yes, there is so much going on that finally we're seeing the truth. I've been talking about the truth being exposed for so long, and we didn't want to believe it. but now we see it. You can deny it, you can say it's not happening, but it's clear. It's crystal clear. But the most important thing, and I always emphasize this, is our spiritual growth. That's why we're here. And all of these are opportunities, whether they're dealing with our anger, our issues, it's all about spiritual growth. So what I see this is this month is the most exciting time for an opportunity to see the truth and become very involved with your spiritual growth, because this is like the veil. Trust me, the veil is thin. But people are going to choose the other extreme of illusion. But when we choose going through and seeing the truth, and what I really think is the truth is who we really and truly are. Who are we? We are all connected to the divine. And when we know that and we connect to that divinity of the spirit that is within us, then the outside world calms down. And that's what we're here to do right now. We are here to realize that what's going on within us, the outside world, is merely a reflection. So all of this truth and all of this frustration, it's all clear. Now we can find the time and the place and the presence to go within and see the beauty of our divinity, and it will be reflected outside of us. This is an incredible time in history. And I'm telling everyone, you know, after April, then we've got May. May has some beautiful aspects in it. It has where Jupiter and Venus come together, when they're together, but not exactly conjunct. Well, let me just say this. They're going to be exactly conjunct on the 30th of April. And that's actually a solar eclipse. So that's going to be another very intense time of revelations and things being revealed to us. This is true. You'll see exactly what's going on. I do, unfortunately, see a lot of suffering, because when Jupiter and Venus come together, they're going to be 3 degrees of Pisces. And of course, I do the sidereal Vedic system. That degree is conjunct a very difficult fixed star. And that fixed star, it's called Sheet. And I remember years ago when I was studying all the fixed stars, the way that we always remembered Sheet is what it sounds like. So because it deals with intense suffering. But once we get past that, and I will say this, the Jupiter, Venus being in Pisces, Venus is exalted, Jupiter is strong. There will be a lot of storms and floods. I've got to warn you that the weather will be extremely intense in April and May. And what is the weather a reflection of? And really the earth changes? What's going on in humanity? But let me just move forward. So after that, I think May and June will be calm, but look out. By the time we get to the third most important aspect of this year, the first one is the Mars-Saturn that's happening currently. The second one is the Jupiter-Neptune that's happening around the 13th of April. Then we're going to have the eclipse at the end of April with the other conjunction of Jupiter-Venus, but the big one, the truly big one, is going to happen August 1st. That's going to be when Mars, Uranus, and Rahu all come together at 24 degrees of Aries. And then by October, Saturn goes to 24 degrees of Capricorn. But I know this is a lot of astrological talk, but let me tell you something that I think people can relate to. That Saturn Uranus square, it happens about every 11, 12 years or so. And did you know that that's about the same cycle as the sunspots around that amount of time? And it's so funny that they coincide. Well, it's not funny. It's the way things are. Everything has a meaning, a purpose, and everything fits in its divine order. And looking at that conjunction in August, that's where everything is going to, well, you know, we're kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. That's when everything occurs. So like we spoke about just a minute ago, John, you know, this is a time of destruction of the negative. So the negative is going to be, they're going to dig their heels in and try to take control as, you know, the yin, the yang, the duality of this planet. It's always going to be this way. There's always the negative and the positive. And even the charges of the atoms, it has to be like that. So this duality is really coming to the forefront where things are going to be really shaken up. Earthquakes are going to be happening more than ever. The whole world is vibrating from the anger and the frustration of what has been happening for a while. And now the truth comes out. So everything's going to shake out. Yes, it's going to be explosive this year. By the end of this year, though, I think we're going to have a much better world. Everything always happens for a reason. And that reason is always about growth, our growth. And this is going to progress the planet and the emotions, the feelings, everyone. It's going to elevate them. And this is what we have to go through, but it should really help us all see the truth, but most of all, the real truth of who we really are. And that is, we are part of the divine and we are all connected. We're all going to come together and help each other heal. That's the beauty of what is to come out of this.
And it's like you and I talked before, we have as humans in this human experience, when, you know, when we look at things from our limited perspective, when we're not connected, we very quickly jump to the conclusions, that's bad, that's good, that's negative, that's positive. When, like you say, what is unfolding right now has, you know, it had to unfold, and it has to unfold because there's millions and millions of people that have the desire for a better future, for a better world, for greater connectivity, for greater community, for more peace and harmony. And hence, I think we co-created this, and this is happening now. So as you say, these are opportunities. Every shaking, and the shakings become stronger, is an opportunity to see the truth, but then to build, because truth is the basis for freedom, right? And freedom is the basis for creation. So this is, to me, as much as we're sometimes getting serious about these things and saying, okay, there's certain things that you got to do to become self-reliant, to become self-sufficient in all areas of your life. And this leads me to my next question. What do you do practically? First, to ground yourself, you know, to stay in this grounded, balanced state that you're always in, which is such a delight, you know, for us viewers to watch you and listen to you. You always come from this balanced, connected state. But I assume you're human too, and sometimes you might get angry or frustrated. What do you do to ground yourself? And what do you do practically in your life to go through this with more peace of mind, knowing that you have prepared for a time like this?
Oh, great question. Well, of course, we're all human here, and we all have those emotions that we look at. And, you know, I like to say, be a fly on the wall and watch yourself and the way you react. It's always important to understand why you're reacting a certain way, because it's always based on something from the past, maybe, you know, childhood, and even past lives. We have these temperaments, we have these bodies. Everything that we are today is because of who we were in the past. So now we have control to change that patterning when we become conscious and aware, because if we are going to just react to things, it's always a reaction from our past conditioning. And to become aware of that really is an awakening as to what needs to be changed. So you can see, what is it in me that I need to change so I don't react like this anymore? It's all past conditioning. And to become aware of that is the number one healing tool we can do. Another thing is, whenever I do get upset, I go for long walks, going out in nature and breathing. Breath work is really important. You know, the great yogis always said that if you can change the way you breathe, you can change your consciousness. But it's not that easy, because you think, oh, I'm going to breathe deep. So you breathe in deep, and Then when you go back to your daily life, you're going to start breathing the way you normally do, because your breathing does reflect your consciousness. And unfortunately, so many people are full of fear right now that they breathe very shallow. And breath work, when you go out and you walk, it makes you focus on your breath and you breathe deep, or even exercise. But walking in nature, nature is the most healing aspect. Every time something's upsetting, if I go for a long walk and I breathe the light of the sun coming in to cleanse my body, I'm always over it by the time I finish that walk. And of course, I do think it's very, very important to take the time, whether it's 5 minutes or 30 minutes, to meditate, to go within and visualize that you are the light and connect to that light, because we are all that light body, that spirit of God. So when we connect to that, the more we do, the better we're going to be. We're going to grow. We're going to want to be more conscious, more aware, because I feel like when you really, really connect to that spirit, and it takes practice, it doesn't happen the first time, but when you do connect to that spirit, the next thing that all you really want to do is help other people. It's not about you anymore. You realize that we are all one, and that you want to help others. And when you do that, then that's when it's returned to you, and you realize the whole purpose of why we're here, to heal this conscious awareness of being separate from everyone, separate from the divine. When we're there, our vibrational frequency will change. And that's the whole goal, because when we change our vibrational frequency, it changes the world and others. And you feel a sense of peace and joy and happiness when you come from this place. It's just so many people are so confused and fearful right now from so many events with the virus and death and war. What more could be happening here to wake us up? Like, we can change this by working on ourselves individually. So those are the things that I use. Communing with nature, breath work. Remember, yoga is based on breath work. And the whole yogis, the whole idea about the breath is that that's what gives us life. And when we really get in touch with how we breathe and work on that, you're going to feel different. You're going to heal. And then all you want to do is good things for your body and others, because you're breathing in the purity of the light, and you're releasing the darkness through the exhale. Those are my tools: breathing, meditation, nature, and becoming conscious of how we react to things, and asking yourself that question: why did I just react like that? What is this based on? And you know what I like to do? There's another little tool I like to do, is journaling. I will pose a question. I will say, why did I react like that? What was it in me that caused that? And then I'll start writing whatever comes to me. And at first, sometimes what comes to me it doesn't make any sense, but I just keep writing. It's kind of like turning the ignition onto a car. You got to get it started first. And then all of a sudden, something starts flowing through me, and I start writing things that I promise you is not me, because some of the adjectives and words, I'm like, who wrote that? But I get my answers. I feel like it's channeling from our higher source to get our answers, to better understand ourselves. Because as you know, we can't change other people, but we do have control to change ourselves. So work on yourself through the channeling, the writing. And one more thing, a tool that I absolutely love, and that is using my dreams for answers. Because when you dream, it is really the only time you connect to your subconscious mind. And when you truly connect to your subconscious mind, the subconscious knows everything. So I use my dreams many times. And I got a lot of this from Edgar Casey's old works, because he would say, go to bed with a glass of water, drink half of it, ask the question you want answered in your dream, then put the water by the side of the bed. And when you wake up, start recording your dream. And I have gotten so many explicit answers through my dreams using that technique. So those are just a little bit of my little bag of tricks, if you want to say.
Absolutely amazing. Inspired Tribe, I encourage you to save this video and re-listen to Joni's answer whenever you feel like you don't know what to do to move from out of a situation that might not be so pleasant, because Joni just gave you basically, in a nutshell, all the beautiful things and transformational tools that you can use in your life that we're using every day. And what a beautiful, beautiful vision for your life if you do these things and you see in, you know, what kind of state you can create for yourself. Now, Joni, our viewers, if they say, I'm really interested in Vedic astrology, I would love to learn more, whether they're beginners or they're already a little advanced and want to go deeper into it, what's a great way for them to get started and to get in touch with you and learn from you?
Well, thank you. Well, one of my pride and joys is my university. I always say it is my greatest accomplishment besides my 3 boys. My 3 sons, they're my greatest accomplishment, number 1. Number 2 is my university. I have an online university. It's all self-paced. You can join anytime, but we have live classes every week, and we keep everyone in touch, and we go to current affairs to look at what's going on in the world in order to keep our interest and to, most of all, learn Vedic astrology. So the online university, and my website for that is universityofvedicastrology.com. And then the other thing is I designed a crash course in Vedic astrology. You asked how to learn. So I thought, you know, some people may not have the time to really immerse themselves in an entire university. And my university takes about a year to graduate from. But the best part of it is you become a teacher with the university when you do graduate. But I created this crash course for people that just want to learn how to read a chart and be able to make their own predictions. And I did it about 2 weeks ago. It's a 6-hour class, beautiful PowerPoint presentation, but you can purchase it and own it and watch it as many times as you want. But another thing that I just started doing, and John, you're going to be part of it, is called Shooting Stars Series. And we meet every week on Tuesdays. Interesting, because Tuesdays are ruled by Mars. So it is really about getting to work and getting things done. But it's about growing spiritually. And I got this, I don't want to call it a calling, but just this nudging that I had to do this. And it's the Neptune-Jupiter conjunction this month of April that really, really inspired me to do this, because I know we have a choice and we are being really directed more to our spiritual essence and spiritual growth. So I brought together a beautiful group of people. Anyone can join anytime. Every week we meet and we talk about things spiritual and how we're going to grow. And at the end of each month, we have a very powerful, influential speaker that comes on and gives us more information. And John is going to be one of our speakers. He's scheduled for us in May. I am so excited. Thank you for that. So those are all the things that I'm up to. All of that, you can see everything that I just talked about on my website, which is galacticcenter.org. You'll see all the classes and all the exciting things that we're doing here.
So there's many ways to learn. We'll put all the links, of course, in the description. There's, you know, for those of you who really want to get started, I think the crash course might be just the right thing to really start diving into it. But what a wonderful opportunity to really study this in depth in Joni's University. And of course, I so look forward to being part of the Shooting Stars. What an honor. And thank you, Joni, for inviting me. I really appreciate it. Inspired Tribe, if you're anything like me, your heart is full now, your soul is full now because of the unfolding of this beautiful conversation and shared energy. You know, Joni, Kristin, and I, and so many others share this beautiful vision of a new future of empowered human beings who remember who they are, and of a future where we co-create peacefully, harmoniously, and abundantly together. And Joni, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving your time today and for sharing your beautiful vision, your knowledge, your wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
And Inspired Tribe, thank you for being with us today. Again, please check out all of Joni's university and all of Joni's other courses and products that she has on the website. Again, we'll put the links there. And I look forward to our next conversation. For today, be inspired, be blessed, and have a wonderful and joyful rest of your day.